Question number 5. I rank this question as intermediate level, and it will take up to 6 minutes to do the question. This including the checking time. So how I get the 6 minutes, right? You may actually do the calculation. You can see the total number of marks is 1 plus 2 and plus another 1 mark here, which is total 4 marks. So 4 times 1.5, you will then be able to get the total amount of time required for this question. Okay, so I'll analyze the keywords. The question provide us the information of the equation. So this is a sine graph. This is a sine graph. So we also given the range of the x, and we have the minimum point. We have the maximum point. So before I start, I would like to have a recap of this is actually related to the chapter of the trigo graph sketch. So let me have a recap of this chapter before we start to do the question. So in textbook, we are more used to the form of the y equal to a sine bx plus c. So, but in this question, we are given a form of this, so we will match it. So let me copy it. So it means that in this question, we have a is equal to p, b is equal to 1 over q, and c is equal to r. Okay, another thing we would like you to take note is that our usual basic sine graph, right, it looks like this for one full cycle. So this is sine x graph. But do you notice from our diagram here is actually a flipped graph. So when we expect a flipped graph, it is when you will flip graph, is when you have a negative sine x. So this is when you will expect a flipped graph. So negative sine x, so it will related to this value, which is the p value. So it means that we will expect our p is less than 0, Okay, one more thing to take note is that you can see from the diagram here, as we see one full cycle. Okay, so it means that at pi, it means the period is at pi. Okay, so now we start doing the question now. Okay, so the first part of the question asks us to show that the r is equal to -1. So in each chapter of the graph sketch, right, we have learned that the constant c is equal to maximum plus minimum divided by 2. So in this case, our c is replaced by r. So I replace the c by r. And the maximum and minimum value you can get from the diagram here. This is the maximum value. Remember, we need to take the y coordinate instead of the x coordinate. Okay, so the maximum is 1, the minimum is -3 divided by 2. So do the calculation, we get the r is equal to -1 shown. Okay, very easy. Next, we move on to the part B. Ask you to find the values of P and Q. So what is P and Q? P is actually A, less than 0, and the Q is this B. So to find the A, to find the P, we will need to recall how we find a maximum or minimum in this question. Okay, so we have learned that when the A is less than 0, so in this case, we are referring to the P. If the P is less than 0, we will expect the maximum value to be equal to -P plus C. Okay, so in this case, our C is R, and our minimum is equal to P plus R. Okay, so we can utilize just one of them will do to help us to find the P. So let's say I get the maximum value. I use this one to find the P value. The maximum is 1, so it is equal to -P plus R is -1. So then you rearrange, you get P is equal to -2. So pause and check. P is -2, and it tallies with what our requirement that the P has to be less than 0 in order to have a flip graph, right? So we have fulfilled it. Okay, next we have to find the P value. To find the P, but next we have to find the Q. So to find Q, right, we go back to the question. Q is actually B. I mean, it related to the B. So it's this one. And so we have to use the formula of period. So go back to the graph. You can see one full cycle is at pi. So it means the period is at pi. So we have a formula for period, which is equal to 2 pi divided by b. So in this case, we have 2 pi divided by 1 over q, and the period in this case is at pi. So we do have at pi is equal to, so simplify this, okay, you will get 2 pi q, okay? So you will get 2 pi q. So you can simplify. Now we get the q equal to 4. So this is how we find the value of P. Okay, last part is to find the equation of the curve. So remember the equation of the curve is y equal to P sine x over q plus r. So we just need to sub all the value we have found earlier into the equation. So we have P is equal to -2 and the q is equal to 4 and the r is equal to -1. So yeah, this is this question and we can get 5 marks.